Welcome from Winona, Minnesota.
I am a welcomer, Kushamati.
Maligayang pagdating galing sa Toledo, Ohio.
Welcome to Summit County.
Welcome from Sertoga Park, Danvers, North Dakota.
Happy Welcoming Week.
From Detroit, Michigan.
Welcome from Northwest Arkansas. Bienvenidos desde el noroeste de Arkansas.
Welcome from Austin, Texas. Bienvenidos desde Austin, Texas.
Bienvenidos desde el Valle Central de California, que incluye condados de Kings, Kearns, Tulare, Fresno, Madera, Merced, Stanislaus, y San Joaquin.
Happy Welcoming Week from East King County, Washington.
Ella and I want to wish you a happy Welcoming Week. It is Bienvenido from the St. Louis Mosaic Project.
We welcome you to Albuquerque.
Bienvenido a Portland, Maine. Te doy la bienvenida. Portland, Maine welcomes you.
Dobrodošli is Boise, Idaho.
Happy Welcoming Week from Fort Morgan, Colorado.
Son bienvenidos aquí.
I am Kathy. I'm with Hearts and Homes for Refugees outside New York City, and I'm proud to be a welcomer.
سلام، من از شما پذیرایی میکنم. Happy to be a welcomer.
I'm proud to be a welcomer. Have a great welcoming week. ברוכים הבאים לשבוע ברוכים הבאים.
أهلا وسهلا بكم في هذا البرنامج.
I'm happy to be a welcomer.
من از شما پذیرایی میکنم.
We are welcoming.
Happy Welcoming Week.
Happy Welcoming Week from the Immigrant Welcome Center.
You are welcome here.
Welcome from Indianapolis, Indiana.
We are welcomers.
From the Sisse family.
Happy Welcoming Week. We are welcomers.
I stand together with refugees and immigrants.
Welcome from the beautiful state of Louisiana.
You are welcome in Nebraska.
Welcome from Palmerston North, New Zealand.
Welcome from Bowling Green, Ohio.
Happy Welcoming Week from Alaska.
Karibu.
Wahanahay Sudui.
Mosarat Kataho.
Happy Welcoming Week.
Hi, I'm Rachel Parrott and I'm the Executive Director of Welcoming America. And it is my great pleasure to kick off Welcoming Week 2020. It's a time now of a lot of uncertainty and pain, but Welcoming Week is a moment that fills me with joy. The joy at being reminded of how many of us there are who believe in sticking up for immigrants, for civil rights, for Black, LGBTQ, Indigenous people, people of different abilities, for all people. It's a reminder that there are so many of us who are committed to building more inclusive communities, and that our numbers are growing. Our numbers are growing because we're inviting people in. And Welcoming Week is an invitation. It's an invitation to understand each other, understand our history, and understand our common yearning to belong. It's an invitation to join in the task of building more welcoming communities, so that wherever we are, wherever we make our home, we create it together. When we create home together, we make the task of building our communities, our economy, our democracy, a shared one. And this Welcoming Week, you'll see people and institutions of all types coming together in communities large and small, rural and urban, in a spirit of unity. From the halls of government to YMCAs, museums, libraries, faith communities, and even into our living rooms. We all have a role to play. We may not be gathering in person this year, but we'll be gathering with purpose. Because when we have the ability to shape our community, it becomes an essential part of us, and we become an essential part of it. And that is the definition of an inclusive democracy. So let's model what a successful, multiracial, multi-ethnic, inclusive democracy looks like in practice. As a contrast to the hate, the intolerance, the exclusion, let's show ourselves what we're really capable of. Whether you're joining for the first time or have been part of the 9-year history of this event, whether you're a member, a partner, a sponsor, just joining, you're what makes this event so meaningful. And I am so grateful and so inspired by the thousands of welcomers who are rising up to meet the challenges of 2020 and helping to shape a future in which all of us, including immigrants, can thrive and belong. Thanks for being with us, and I hope you have a great welcoming week.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Leila Campani, Chief Development Officer with Welcoming America. It's my pleasure to introduce our first performers. Joining us from Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco, Mexico, Piel Canela featuring Fernando Gonzalez and Eduardo Leon performing the song Vivir Mi Vida. Enjoy!
Hello everyone, my name is Fernando Gonzalez.
And I am Eduardo Leon.
We are from Puerto Vallarta and we play in a band that calls Piel Canela. We are going to do a song that is from Marc Anthony, Vivir Mi Vida, and we hope you guys enjoy this song.
Voy a reír, voy a bailar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Voy a reír, voy a gozar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Se llega la lluvia para limpiar las heridas, a veces solo una gota puede vencer la sequía. ¿Y para qué llorar? ¿Para qué? Si duele una pena y se olvida. ¿Y para qué sufrir? ¿Para qué? Si así es la vida, hay que vivirla. La la le. Voy a reír, voy a bailar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Voy a reír, voy a gozar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Voy a vivir el momento para entender el destino. Voy a escuchar el silencio para encontrar el camino. ¿Y para qué llorar? ¿Para qué? Si duele una pena y se olvida. ¿Y para qué sufrir? ¿Para qué? Si así es la vida, hay que vivirla. La la le. Voy a reír, voy a bailar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Voy a reír, voy a gozar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Voy a reír, voy a bailar, para que soñar, para que sufrir, empiezo a soñar a reír. Voy a reír, voy a gozar, siente y goza, que la vida es una sola. Voy a reír, voy a gozar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Reír, voy a gozar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la.
Greetings. My name is Wesley Myrick, Director of Operations at Welcoming America. It is my honor to present our next speaker, Mr. John Oliver Santiago. Originally from the Philippines, John has been a tireless advocate for DACA youth and has contributed to social justice and youth development programs throughout his community. As an alumni of the YMCA Youth Institute at the YMCA of Greater Long Beach, John is a shining example of what can be achieved through hard work and perseverance. We are excited to share your story with you now, Mr. John Oliver Santiago.
Hi, my name is John Oliver Santiago. I am 27 years old and I am an undocumented immigrant. When I was 12, I came here from my home country of the Philippines. Well, I guess it's more appropriate to call it my native country, because I don't think that home is a permanent place. I feel that home is something that you actively have to create, actively that you something that you have to make for yourself, and it's a place where you're finding security, you're creating comfort in a foreign world, right? And as an undocumented immigrant, security was something that just was the most dominant thing in my mind. And fortunately, about 6 years ago, there was a program called the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, otherwise known as DACA. And through that program, I was able to find gainful employment and thereby supporting myself through my education. This past spring, I was able to graduate from Cal State Long Beach with a bachelor's in economics and math, and hopefully moving on to bigger and better things. How do I keep my family traditions alive? Well, some of the biggest things about the Filipino tradition is religion. My family, we go to church as often as we can. Every Saturday, I'm at the Vigil Mass here at the local church. Well, currently not during the pandemic, but you'll often see my family doing the rosary every other night when they can. And another big thing that we do to keep our traditions alive is through the food. My mother, she makes the best home cooked dish, as everyone's mom does, I think. But of course, my mom does it best. She makes the best Filipino stews, and every time I go home, I know that there's always a nice meal waiting for me. And everything around meal, a big part of Filipino tradition again is community, and we build community by celebrating each other over meals. In the Philippines, we find a reason to celebrate anything. We're talking religious holidays, federal holidays, birthday, someone's homecoming. Every little thing. And if there's not one, we'll still throw a party, just because we want to share each other's company, and I think that's a beautiful thing. But coming here in America as a 12-year-old, one of the biggest issues I had was coming up with my identity. On top of me being an adolescent trying to become my own person, there was another perspective I had to look at, was how am I as a person in this country? Because a huge part of a first-generation immigrant is grappling with the fact that you're trying to be accepted in this huge monolithic idea of America and what is America, right? And so a lot of the times my culture was considered the other. Let's see, how do I put this? A lot of the times I had to suppress my cultural identity in order to fit in. And that's something that I grappled with and something that I'm still grappling with. But what I've come to realize is that's actually something that I ought to lean into, because that's something that I bring to the table. I see the world through meals, right? And so I look at pizza. How come pizza is considered one of the most staple American dishes, yet it's actually Italian? And how come my mom's sinigang? How come Cambodian prahok? How come Hokkien mee from Indonesia? How come those are all considered foreign and exotic, yet something that came from Italy, something that came from Spain, something that came from Mexico, these are considered staples in America? And I like to think of myself that the only reason that they get that benefit of the label of being Americans is because they got here first. So for me, coming into myself as an adult, one of the things I realize is my culture, the fact that I'm bringing Filipino culture here to America that makes it part of American culture. If you give it time, my traditions will become America a generation, 2 generations down the lane, you know? And part of that is seeing the fact that we have to celebrate each other's differences, but despite that, we have to find the similarities in each other's worlds. That connective tissue is what makes us a community and what makes us a more resilient, richer environment. You know, something that I read this past week was, you want to create an environment where growth is a byproduct of living. And I personally would rather grow in a garden full of so many rich cultures, and you know, just by being in this garden makes me a better person for myself, for my family, and for everyone else.
When I was growing up, art would take me out of my reality, which was that I was undocumented or that I was queer. To be an artist, at the root of it for me was just to communicate with someone. When I got here, I was 7 years old, and I went from being a straight A student in Mexico to the US, where I actually didn't know a single word. And that's what I think America is. It's the teacher that gave me my first coloring book. I didn't have documents that actually prove who I was, photos or any form of ID. The first time that I started cutting maps, I had this map of the US and Mexico, and I wanted to see if I could find a route that literally brought me here. Think about the George Washington portrait. People want to think of these historical figures as people that weren't flawed. It was a time that was great to a lot of people, but not all the people were at that table. When you parallel America and the unfinished portrait, I think about the journey that all of us are still in, being in this country. And choosing to add another material to that portrait, I see that as an act of freedom. There's an immigrant making it now, and this country is built on people coming here. I can't imagine that decision that my parents made, except by rooting it in love. Hopefully people, for a moment, think of themselves outside of their own identity and think of everyone as a whole. Anything can be a map as long as you can see where you were before, where you are now, hopefully where we end up.
Hello, my name is Timothy Walden, the Communications Manager at Welcoming America, and I am thrilled to introduce our next piece, a community unity and global arts empowerment performance program by multicultural artists and teachers from Get Empowered. Get Empowered is a national organization with a mission to unify, educate, elevate, and empower children and communities and people of all ages. Their team comes from 6 continents, and they specialize in creating and leading interactive programs and activities combining global arts, education, mindfulness, and diversity inclusion. They provide live and remote national outreach activities for all ages. We hope you enjoy.
送りはよ晴れきって開くよ俺への船歌あけぼのなのよになく離れの間若い柏の芽が育つそれがシャンシャンと打って柏でシャンシャンシャンシャンと打って柏でシャンシャン柏踊りはよ
Foi África engravidou de Angola, partiu de Luanda e de Benguela, chegou e pariu a capoeira, no chão do Brasil verde e amarela. Camara que me fez essa cantiga. É um jogo, é uma dança, é uma briga. No quilombo da Serra da Maria, capoeira chegou com a caravela. Foi África engravidou de Angola, partiu de Luanda e de Benguela.
think of family, fun, safety, friendship, love, that whole holistic part of yourself with other people. That's what I think about when I come home. And so with my traditions that we have at home, we're trying to go on walks. We try to cook our favorite meals that we would have with family. We try to call everybody, do virtual family time and things like that. So we're always trying to incorporate our traditional senses while we're at home during this time.
Mi casa, su casa. When I think of home, I think of food. I think of just the sweet smell of fresh cut grass, all that good stuff. So at the Y, what we're trying to do is just incorporate that. We got music, we got festivities, we have food, and during this pandemic, it's been tough. It's been tough, but we try to kind of replicate that. And so when people walk in, whether it's our members, whether it's our staff, make them feel at home. That whole mi casa, su casa mentality, the customer service, just letting people know that they're welcome, that they're safe, they're secure, and they're home.
Home to me is familia, laughter, dancing, music, Spanglish with the little cousins, food around the table, and just celebrating the time that we have with each other.
Hi everyone, my name is George Zavala. I'm the Western Regional Manager at Welcoming America. I'm here to introduce our next storyteller, Nikan Astari Carpenter. Nikan is a community organizer, the refugee and immigrant liaison, and the executive assistant for the mayor of the city of Erie, Pennsylvania. Nikan hails from Surabaya, East Indonesia, and works tirelessly to build opportunity, restore hope, and transform the city of Erie. Please give a warm welcome to Nikan Astari Carpenter.
Welcoming Week 2020. So, first question. My story of migration is, my name is Nikan Astari Carpenter. I am originally from Indonesia. My husband and I got married in 2010, but because of the immigration process, we had to live apart for a year, but didn't stop us from having the occasional fight. But anyhow, second question. The creating home together means to me, it means that I am being accepted and welcome as I am. To as simple as for example, in our household with my husband, before I moved to America, I asked him to install a bidet because where I came from, having a bidet is the norm, and I heard American people use toilet paper. He may not be a handyman, but he did it. I also requested him to keep halal at home, but he doesn't like bacon very much, so that wasn't very hard. I also asked him to buy a rice cooker, which surprisingly he already had. Next question would be, my family and I keep our cultural tradition alive by practicing religion. As a Muslim, I pray 5 times a day, which can be pretty confusing at the beginning, especially with the changing of seasons and the different length of days in this country, especially in this side of the countries in Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, a day is 12 hours, a night is 12 hours, and it never changes. The long days also make fasting during Ramadan a bit challenging too, especially when it happens during the summer, because the Maghrib or the Sandan prayer, when we can eat again, seems to fall very late in the day. Next question would be, share your experiences with race and immigration. So in 2018, I joined the administration of newly elected Erie Mayor Joe Chamber. I started as the executive assistant to the mayor and also served as the refugee and immigrant liaison. So I would answer the phone and some people would ask for, can I speak with someone who speaks English? Or someone also asked, give me somebody who's educated and graduated from American University. Well, I speak with an accent, but I do speak English. And I actually got my master's degree from the Pennsylvania State University. It got me thinking, imagine if this happened to me, the mayor's assistant, the American liaison, it can happen to anyone else out there. So, last question. Share a story of how your community has come together around a specific challenge, obstacle, or celebration. Well, this coronavirus pandemic is one of the examples. When the outbreak started, the city doesn't have health department, but the county does. The county health department of Erie reached out to me, asked them to help and understand the needs of refugees and immigrants in Erie. So, along with the refugee health case coordinator, we coordinated the several Zoom calls between the county executive, the mayor, several members of the county department of health, and specific groups of refugees and immigrants. Like, for example, today we would have a call with the Bhutanese leader, the next day would be with Islamic leaders, and then the next day would be with African American leaders and many others. So from this conversation, the county health department was able to identify the needs of the new Americans here and provide COVID-19 translated materials and videos in several languages that are being spoken in Erie, such as Arabic, Nepali, Russian, Spanish, and Swahili, and so forth. So the county department of health was also able to provide a dedicated line for English as a second language residents to call if they feel like they're having COVID-19 symptoms. I think that was pretty cool. On the city side, so the mayor has a new American council that consists of 25 leaders from refugees and immigrants, and also organizations or groups serving these new Americans in Erie. We partner with the council and several African American based community centers in Erie to help us deliver the message. Besides COVID-19 materials, we also partner with the New American Council to encourage community, especially the refugees and immigrants, to fill out the census, because there are many in the New American community who assume that census is only for U.S. citizens, not for children or elderly or students, and so forth. So helping them to understand the importance of census and that everyone counts are important. So if you haven't done it yet, please fill out the census at my2020census.gov. It's due on September 30th, 2020. And remember, everybody counts. So fill it out.
Hello, my name is Trang Trung Hill. I'm the Director of Newcomer Engagement and Global Strategies at YMCA of the USA. The YMCA is a global organization with an inclusive mission in over 119 countries. The Y is committed to strengthening community by connecting all people to their potential, purpose, and to one another. Working locally, we focus on empowering young people, improving health and well-being, and inspiring action in across all communities. For more than 160 years, the Y has provided immigrants with support and resources to integrate them well and fully participate in American society. This year's Welcoming Week provides the YMCA with another opportunity to celebrate our national partnership with Welcoming America, one that enables us to celebrate diversity, inclusion, and community by bringing everyone together, both newcomers and long-standing residents. In 2019, more than 800 YMCAs across 40 states and the District of Columbia hosted thousands of Welcoming Week events to promote cross-cultural understanding and build their stronger communities for all. Please take a look at some of our work.
As an immigrant, I can say that it's hard. We have to make a hard decision to leave our country and come here to the United States. Now everybody is safe. That is the most important thing for me.
Newcomer programs are really important because when newcomers arrive here, they're lost. They don't know where to go. These programs help them to integrate themselves into society, finding new jobs, but also finding new friends, learning how to communicate, learn about the American culture.
I think this work is incredibly necessary in all communities in terms of just increasing social cohesion and promoting a welcoming atmosphere. We have a staff that has the capacity to organize meetings, to bring people into partnership, and to kind of really propel and catalyze creative thinking. So as a Y, we're inviting people to the table.
There is a very large influx of refugees and immigrants in the community, and they're not always aware of their resources, and the Y actually acts as a banner of those resources.
I can say that I divide my life in two phases, the before YMCA and after YMCA, because before YMCA is difficult. What is a cover letter? What should I do if I want to make a wonderful resume? So when I start YMCA, they can give you the tools for rebuilding your life.
I can say in complete honesty that the Y's newcomer work is absolutely life-changing. These are relatively short programs, a half a year, that will change not just people's lives, but their children's lives and generations to come.
By doing integration work, we make our communities safer, we make our communities more cohesive, and we bring to life the American dream.
Hello, I'm Jordan Crumroy, and I'm the Regional Manager with Welcoming America. Now, you've been sitting for a while, and it's time to get up and get ready to move with some exciting Afro-Brazilian samba dance and music. Our friends and partners at Get Empowered want you to participate in this simple dance lesson for all ages. Get Empowered teaching artist Alegria and Jeanette Silva from Brazil will guide you step by step through some basic samba moves. All right, everybody. Let's get up and get empowered together. It's time to dance.
Hello everyone, my name is Leandro Silva.
My name is Jeanette Silva.
And we're here today to teach you Samba. Are you ready? Alright, so you're gonna follow me to learn the first steps. So you're gonna start with the right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot forward, left foot forward, and then go sideways, side, 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 and left foot forward, right foot forward, left and right foot forward and side, 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 again, and right foot and left foot forward, right foot forward, left foot forward and side, 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 left side and left foot forward, right foot forward, left foot forward, right, and go and side, 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 side. All right, so now we're gonna do everything with the music. You got it? Put thumbs up if you got it. 5, 6, 7, and right, left, and side, side, left, side, again, left, side. Very good. All right. Let me see you guys. You make sure you got it. If you got it, put the thumbs up like that. Very good. So right now, here's Jeanette.
So take your right leg front and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you step 5. You turn. There again, step. Then turn. One more time. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turn. 6, 7, 8. My right cross in front of my left. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I bring my left cross side to the right. 6, 7, 8. Let's try one more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Right. 2. Stay right now. 8. Right. Turn. 8 again. 8. Front. Back. Front. 8. Back. 8. 1. 1. Cross. 1, 2, 3, 4.
good. You're gonna do exactly the same thing with music. Excellent job. All right, so you learn a few steps with us right now. We're gonna invite all of you to get ready. We're gonna do a big celebration right now. I want you to do your freestyle, follow the samba, feel the rhythm, and just enjoy. Try to use the steps you just learned and have some fun.
Minha gente, cheguei agora, minha gente, cheguei com Deus e com Nossa Senhora. Minha gente, cheguei agora, minha gente, cheguei agora, minha gente, cheguei com Deus e com Nossa Senhora. Eu moro na roça, nunca morei na cidade, compro o jornal da manhã pra saber da novidade. Moro na roça, nunca morei na cidade, compro o jornal da manhã pra saber da cidade, compro o jornal da manhã.
Welcome everyone. My name is Vanya Pantachoflozolu and I'm the Program Manager for Welcoming International. It's a pleasure to introduce you to our next storyteller, Joanna Abraham, who's joining us from Australia. Joanna was born and raised in Singapore but moved to Australia in 2006. She's an immigration and refugee lawyer who works with some of the most vulnerable people in her community. As a migrant herself, she knows and believes in the importance of justice and legal aid for all. Please join me in welcoming Joanna.
Hello everyone, I am Joanna Abraham and I am from Melbourne, Australia. I'm originally from Singapore, as is my family, although a few generations before my grandparents were from India. So I'm a mixture of North and South Indian. So I'm Tamil, Malayali and Punjabi, kind of all rolled into one. And I read, speak and write fluent Tamil because I had to learn it in school. But I was born in Singapore and so I predominantly identify as Singaporean. My family story of migration it basically happened when I was 16 years old. So my dad got a job opportunity to move to Melbourne, Australia, and at that point in time I was really quite excited because it was something new, and I never really quite felt like I fit in Singapore because I was Indian, but I didn't look super Indian, and so it was a really exciting opportunity for us to move to a foreign land. When we did move here, it was a bit of an adjustment period because it was a real culture shock coming to a country where everywhere I turned and I looked was blonde hair, blue eyes, just really different from anything I'd experienced before. So it took a little bit of adjustment, and along the way I think I tried so hard to fit in that I started to put a damper on parts of my cultural identity and my heritage to, in an effort to fit in. And that's obviously burgeoned and I've grown along the way, and I've come to really embrace who I am as a person, and that's inclusive of my culture and where I come from. So what we do as a family and how we keep our traditions alive is very much through the little things. It's through the food, it's through meeting people and speaking about our country in Singapore. It's through, the Indian in me always eats with my hand because I think food tastes so much better when you eat with your hand, although some people find that weird. It's through the music and the movies. So we still very much watch a lot of Tamil or Hindi movies in Melbourne. And we still have all of those channels that are available to us, even though we're not in Singapore or not in India. So we keep our traditions alive in the little things. And for me, a lot of that is also through my language. And so, like I said, I studied Tamil when I was in Singapore. And it wasn't until I got to Australia and I went through law school and I became an immigration lawyer. So I'm a refugee and immigration lawyer. And a lot of my clients are Tamil Sri Lankan. And it wasn't until there was one point where the interpreter didn't show up for the appointment and we really needed to get that appointment done because the deadline for lodging the protection application was coming up. And so I started speaking in Tamil to the client, and even though it was quite funny to listen to, I'm sure the clients were tickled at how bad I was, and I was actually looking through an online dictionary converting English to Tamil so I could remember the words I needed to use, and that was like 5 years ago, and over time I've gotten better at my language, and now I can hold entire legal appointments in Tamil. So that's very much been my own learning journey and retaining of my own cultural heritage. So that's been really amazing. And then being able to hear other people's stories of migration. Australia is a really multicultural country, and its claim to fame is multiculturalism. So I think 1 in 3 people had at least one parent born overseas as of the 2016 census. So it's really heartwarming, especially in these difficult times with COVID, to see communities coming together, migrant communities supporting people, not just their own, but people across the board who are doing it tough. And it's really beautiful to see that it's not the government that's helping, but it's people who the government's opened their doors to that are really opening up their arms and helping everyone in need. So I think that's a really beautiful thing. And I just wanted to encourage everyone out there who does share a migration story to never lose touch and never lose focus of where you are, where you came from and who you are, because that's so important. And I really keep that with me even till today. So thanks.
People are different, whether it's the way they look, their background, experiences. But what if people focused on what makes them the same, what brings them together? What would that look like? It was the inspiration for a local photographer's Be Kind project.
Let's show the world a little bit of love and a little bit of light.
Through their eyes, it's simple. They're happy together.
A bright light, even when there's darkness. There's so much bad going on right now. There's so many people fighting and hating each other.
Photographer Liz Williams wanted to share her view of the world, the kids' view, through her lens.
I reached out to my following and I was like, who would want to join me in this? And there were like 500 comments.
She calls it the Be Kind project. Children from different backgrounds connected by what makes them all the same.
Some kids to get together and they're not judging each other based off of the way they look. They have pure hearts and they're just being so sweet and playing, or they're making each other laugh. We talked about boogers and toots because that's what makes kids laugh, and we had a really, really good time doing that. And you can clearly see it in the pictures. They were just loving each other, and I feel like that's how the world should be. As adults, our minds get just contaminated with bad things. We need to remember who we were at one point in our lives before we were contaminated. I feel like a lot of people need to see these pictures. This is just what the world needs right now.
Hey everyone, my name is Anthony Salas and I am the Event and Membership Manager with Welcoming America. I hope you enjoyed the story that we just shared with you, and I want to take a moment to thank everyone that made it possible for us to bring it to you today. All from the Atlanta, Georgia area, I would like to thank Cheryl Preheim of NBC 11 Alive News, Liz Williams of Liz by Design Photography, and Kevin Johnson of Lazy Coconut Custom T-Shirts, the designers of the beautiful Be Kind T-shirts that you saw featured in the story. Back in July of this year, when 11 Alive News ran the story, really resonated with us because it showed how one small act of kindness can make such a difference by bringing people together regardless of what their differences might be. If you are interested in purchasing one of those Be Kind t-shirts, I invite you to go to Facebook and search for Lazy Coconut Custom Tees. And you see that currently on the bottom of the screen. So Lazy Coconut Custom Tees. Once you're on their page, you will see not only those t-shirts, but you're also going to see a number of other designs that they have available and products that you can purchase through their site. You've also possibly seen these t-shirts that many of us are wearing here today. Those are all available through the Welcoming America online store, and you can go to the store by visiting store.welcomingamerica.org. You're going to see the t-shirts, but you're also going to see a number of other items such as coffee mugs, mouse pads, hoodies, even face masks. All of those things are available to you, and all of these would make a great statement and show others that you are a welcomer as well. Thanks so much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of today's event.
I'm Angel Anderson from Long Beach, California, YMCA Play and Learn Preschool. During this time, through the pandemic, how we've been keeping our cultural traditions alive is through reading and through food. That's the best thing right now, but we'll get through this together.
Pamela ko phimphimli phitပါတယ်။ကျွန်မရဲ့အသက်က 60 ကျော်ဖြစ်ပါတယ်။ကျွန်မဟာမြန်မာလူမျိုးဖြစ်ပါတယ်။ကျွန်မဒီနေ့ပြောပြချင်တဲ့အရာကတော့ဒီနေ့ကျွန်မမှာစီဂျိုတွေးတိုးယောဂရှိပေမဲ့ကျွန်မရဲ့မြန်မာရိုးရာအစားအသောက်နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ကျွန်မအထူးပဲလေ့လာတိုက်စားပြီးတော့ကျမကြီးနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ကျွန်မကိုယ်တိုင်အိမ်မှာချက်ပြုတ်စားသောက်တာနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ပြောပြချင်ပါတယ်။ဒီနေ့ကျွန်မမှာယောဂတွေရှိတဲ့အပြင်ကိုဒီနေ့အပြင်မှာယောဂ COVID-19 ယောဂလည်းဖြစ်နေတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်ကျွန်မအိမ်မှာကိုယ်တိုင်ဒီကျမကြီးအတွက်ပို့ပြီးတော့အားရှိမဲ့အရာယောဂနဲ့လည်းကင်းဝေးနိုင်တဲ့အရာမိမိလက်ရှိနေတဲ့ယောဂတွေအားလုံးကိုပို့ပြီးတော့ကျမလာနိုင်အောင်လို့စားတော့တဲ့အစားတောက်တွေနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ကျွန်မပြောပြချင်ပါတယ်အဓိကတော့လူတိုင်းဟာမကျမလာဘူးအယောင်ဝမ်းနေကြပါတယ်မကြိုက်ကြပါဘူးကျမကျင်ကြပါတယ်ဒါကြောင့်ကျွန်မလည်းထိုနည်းတူရကျမကျင်တယ်အသက်ရှည်ကျင်တယ်ဒါကြောင့်မို့ကျွန်မမြန်မာလူမျိုးတွေရဲ့မြန်မာအစားအစာကိုလည်းကျွန်မအရင်ကဂုဏ်ယူပါတယ်ဒါကြောင့်မို့ကျွန်မမြန်မာအစားအစာနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ဘလို့အားရှိအောင်စားရမလဲဘလို့ကျမအောင်စားတော့နေထိုင်ရမလဲဆိုတဲ့အကြောင်းလေးကိုကျွန်မရှင်းပြချင်ပါတယ်ရှင်
Hi, my name is Alma Orozco, and I am the Family Moment Coordinator at Junior Pesa Community Schools. And when it comes to the question, how do we keep the cultural traditions alive during this pandemic? It is based on one of the wonderful things about working in this community is working with diverse population. And one of the great things about it is because we're in different cultures, different traditions, and different beliefs. So one of the things that we are able to do and work with this community is we have one example is support groups. The support groups is a space where we allow families from different cultures to come and talk about the challenges they're having during this pandemic. And this is a place where we allow them to have this space. We are not able to, let's say, we don't know all the cultures and traditions of everyone, but we know that they're very important factors in their lives. And one of the things we do is we do research and to know a little bit more about their beliefs and cultural traditions and practices, and we help them and give them the space where they can be able to, talk about it and express their ways and feel welcome and feel that they can be able to talk about their challenges and stuff that they are going through.
So during this pandemic, it's been pretty fun seeing the different dishes that my wife cooks, and being able to be in a multicultural household has its advantages. So I've been cooking banana blossoms with fish fry and turning them into fried fish. My wife has been making
lots of Cambodian noodles, stir fries, and it just keeps us so connected to home and to family and to culture. So that's what we've been doing during the pandemic to keep things alive.
All right, stay safe, guys.
Hi there, I'm Mary, and the way I'm keeping cultural traditions alive during the pandemic is I'm keeping this manger scene up all year, and it's one my mom made many years ago, and it helps me celebrate and remember my family and all the wonderful traditions around the holidays.
Hi, my name is Kathy, and I am from the YMCA of Metropolitan Los Angeles. How I keep cultural traditions alive is through cooking and food.
We've kept up our family traditions by making a lot of Palestinian dishes and desserts, and also finding creative ways to stay in touch with family in the Middle East.
Hola a todos, nosotros somos la familia Camacho, somos de Venezuela, actualmente vivimos en Jacksonville, Florida. Durante estos días de pandemia que nos ha tocado estar en casa, hemos tratado de conectar a nuestros hijos con nuestras raíces culturales a través de la comida. Para nosotros es súper importante cocinar juntos, uno de nuestros hobbies es hornear. Lo disfrutamos mucho, nos divierte y nos mantiene unidos.
Hello! Hi, I'm Christina Wong. I am a performance artist, a comedian, and recently an elected representative in Koreatown, Los Angeles. I'm also a huge advocate for immigrant and refugee communities and recognizing their work in building America. Now, I know you are all enjoying this great Welcoming Week kickoff event, and we're going to get right back for more to you to enjoy. But I want to take a moment right now to tell you about. Since 2009, this nonprofit organization has led the movement of welcoming and inclusion across the globe so that everyone, no matter where they are from, feels welcome. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, Welcoming America created the Resilient Rapid Response Initiative in March of this year. This initiative provides support to network members serving people in their communities who have been disproportionately affected by the pandemic. The support comes in the support of, among many things, grants, translation services, and emergency management expertise. They are also offering resources related to two big events that you might have heard are taking place this year: the census and the election. I believe in the amazing work that Welcoming America is doing every day, and I want to invite you to do something right now. Now get your phone and text Welcoming America. One word, Welcoming America, to 243725 and make a donation. Or go to welcomingamerica.org and click on the donate button at the top of the screen. No matter what you give, your donation is going to make a difference. We're living in difficult times right now. Just a little bit difficult. But now more than ever, we have to double down to ensure that we're helping to build resilient places where everyone feels at home. On behalf of Welcoming America, thanks for your support. Now sit back and enjoy the rest of the event. Happy Welcoming Week.
My name is Molly Hillegas. I'm the Midwest Regional Manager with Welcoming America, and I'm here with my son Sullivan.
It is a pleasure to introduce you to our next storyteller, Oran Buhr. Oran was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and moved to the U.S. when he was 20 years old. Today he lives in Atlanta, where he is known and owns a bakery called Baker Dude.
Family and culture are very important to Oran, and I know you'll be touched and inspired by his wonderful story.
Hi, my name is Oran Buhr, and my story of migration is relocating to America at the age of 20 after being born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica. So shortly after arriving in New York, I joined the Army, which took me to El Paso, Texas, Saudi Arabia, and South Korea. Now I call Atlanta home. Creating home together means a lot to me. We have a very international home with myself from Jamaica, my husband Dave from America, and our twin boys Landon and Zarin, who were born in India through surrogacy. Living in such a diverse and progressive city as Atlanta has helped support our family and our professional aspirations. I'm the proud owner and founder of Baker Dude, a small yet growing business that allows me to offer Euro-style baked goods and really great food. My family and I keep our cultural traditions alive by, you guessed it, food. As a baker, I also love to cook for my boys. It is through food I am able to share the culinary side of Jamaica and India. From a young age, the kids have been eating great dishes like stew peas and rice and curry chicken. Come on, who eats like that? In recent years, they've shown interest and have now joined me in the kitchen. As we prepare our family meals, I also am able to pass down family traditions while creating lasting memories with them. In Jamaica, our national motto is out of many, one people. I grew up surrounded by different races and embraced the cultures that made our small Caribbean nation so unique. Moving to New York, even though at times it felt like an extension of Jamaica, it showed me that diversity does not always equal harmony and equal opportunity. I credit my upbringing for allowing me to navigate race relations in America and not get hung up on it when working with others. There are lots of opportunities in America and lots of difficulties as well. Being a gay black man and immigrant, I found myself always having to try to overachieve in order to attain what some of my peers achieved quite easily. There is no mistake that race hinders your progress in America, but an immigrant with a strong work ethic that contributes to the success of their new home cannot be denied. When Dave and I decided to start a family, we did so knowing that we had little family here in Atlanta that we could call on, so caring for our little ones would really just fall on us. Well, we were wrong. Our friends, neighbors, and colleagues threw baby showers and even offered to care for the kids for us. They say it takes a village, and we had one. Having a support group of close family and friends is important in times of need, but having the support of a community is even better. In summer of 2019, our small business fell into dark times. Business was slow, and there came a point where we couldn't keep the lights on. With most of my family's savings used to pursue this dream of mine, going quietly in the night was not an option. I reached out to my community, and they responded to the call. Support came in the form of kind words, repeat business, and monetary gifts from family, friends, and customers. Our story and struggle were shared near and far, and not only did we benefit from it, but it helped to bring focus on the importance of supporting small businesses, small minority-owned businesses. In closing, it is important that we help our fellow Americans preserve the democracy of this nation, built by immigrants. Get involved in your community and build solid relationships so that this nation becomes a beacon of hope and opportunity for other immigrants.
Good afternoon. My name is Andre DeShields, and I'm speaking to you from my home in New York. And it is wonderful to join Welcoming America and kick off Welcoming Week 2020. I only recently learned about this work, but what a revelation to know that there are so many people of all races, backgrounds, and creeds working to make communities welcoming to everyone, including immigrants. When I think about this idea of being welcoming, I think about the extraordinary capacity within all of us to see each other's humanity and reject the judgment and assumptions that hold us back from living as equals. Welcoming is not about niceties. It is about pulling back the veil and seeing each other for who we really are and really can be. Life is too short, too full of joy and wonder to spend it in fear, in shame, in judgment of our neighbors. Yet our history, especially this history we are just now beginning to confront through the important work of Black Lives Matter, of indigenous groups, of all people who have been labeled less than. This work is filled to the brim with stories of how racism and hatred for the other have used these fears to define who has access to being a full American citizen. This is a culture we must change. This work that each of you is doing to educate people, to change, the laws, to change the way we interact with each other as a society means a great deal to me. I also know it can be stronger when you work with artists. This is a moment that calls for creativity, for envisioning something very different from what has been. The work of addressing racism, bigotry, and othering is work that needs to captivate us. We need a language to communicate across the absurd boundaries of them and us. And that language is the human language of art, culture, and storytelling. When I won my Tony Award for the musical Hadestown during June 2019, I shared my personal rules, my cardinal rules of sustainability and longevity, and I would like to share them with you now. Cardinal rule number 1. Surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming. Cardinal rule number 2. Slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to be. And cardinal rule number 3. The top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. So keep climbing. The work you are doing will take time, and you have committed to the long-term fight. I hope my rules on sustainability and longevity inspire you to keep moving. As a perfect tie-in to Welcoming Week's theme of creating home together, this song resonates with many in its message of longing to find a world full of love, a place to belong, a home. It is a showstopper of a song, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you an aspiring Broadway performer whom I know you will love. Jade Lytica. With everything we are facing this year, I hope this is the biggest and most meaningful welcoming week yet. And I hope you feel the support of all of us who champion and celebrate the work of building more welcoming places. And now, Jade, take us home.
Think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. Wind that makes the tall trees bend into leaning. Suddenly the snowflakes that fall have a meaning, sprinkling the scene makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I have some direction. It would sure be nice to be back home where there's love and affection. And just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow. hasn't changed its face, but I still know where I'm going. I have had my mind spun around in space, and yet I watched it growing. If you're listening, God, please don't make it hard to know if we should believe the things that we see. Tell me, should we run away? Should we try and stay? Or would it be better just to let things be? Living here in this brand new world might be a fantasy, but it taught me too long, so it's real to me. And I've learned that we must look inside